Wow, look at my shirt. Robin got me a new shirt. It is very colorful. It's funny when you put a shirt on, you don't really see it until you make a video of yourself or somebody takes a picture. That's pretty colorful. Pretty nice. That's from Robin. Today I'm going to show you how I painted this. Morning woods in the forest or something. Morning woods, I don't know, at a lake. Sunrise at a lake in the forest. I don't know what to call the picture. But in the video, I'm mostly addressing critiques and negative criticism and the effect it has on artists and the effect it has probably on all of us. Anybody trying to do something creative, anybody trying to do something. Because some of you have expressed some devastating blows to your self-esteem, to your desire to create. It damages your whole being when somebody says something negative about the art you're creating, and specifically in the context of this video, but it could also be the way you're raising your children, or the way you dress, or the way you drive. I don't know why people critique in a negative way. Now there's such thing as constructive criticism, constructive suggestions. There's such a thing as tough love, where you really want to help somebody become better at what they do. I'm not talking about those criticisms. I'm talking about the criticisms that seem to be intentionally delivered to bruise somebody, to hurt somebody, to stop somebody from doing what they're doing. It's like painting a picture. You're painting too slowly, you're painting too fast, you're using too many brushes, you're not using the right paint, you're not using the right paper, you're not holding the brush the right way. What? Don't listen, please. In the context of the video that I just made, I don't know where it came from. Maybe I just felt like saying something, but I'm going to repeat this in the video you're about to see. But if you don't watch anything else, just don't let that stuff get to you. If you put stuff online and you have negative comments, just don't listen to it. If you have a teacher who can truly give you constructive criticism, even that sometimes is worth ignoring. It's true. Anyway, what do you say we just paint for fun? This is no masterpiece. This is just a fun card. You know what the masterpiece is? The masterpiece is you. And the masterpiece is your love. And if you create a card, it's a card for those who can't tell. If you create a card and then you give it to somebody, and the whole purpose of giving it to them is to make them feel good. I got a card, whether you made it or whether you bought it in the store, the card makes them feel good. They say, wow, somebody took the time to send me a card. Somebody took the time to write me a personal message. That's the masterpiece. That is truly the masterpiece. We all want to paint pictures, all of us artists, that are our masterpiece, our once in a lifetime, our Mona Lisa. But you probably have one in your, what do you call it? Portfolio. You probably have one in your portfolio already. Wow, look at that shirt. That is some shirt Robert gave me. All right, let me show you how I painted this. So today's video is about painting this, but it's mostly about just ignore the critics. Just ignore negative criticism. Just ignore negative, superficial, unimportant criticism. And you know what might be the best way to armor yourself against that is to hang out with other artists. And if this is your place to hang out here on the Papa Paints channel, go to the Papa Paints Facebook page or Facebook, what is it called, group. It costs nothing. It costs nothing to watch these videos. It costs nothing to go to. Just hang out, show your art, look at other people's art. Just congratulate each other on being there for one another. All right, that's it. I think I'm ready to show you how I did this one. All right, here we go. Okay, so how is everybody today? Hope you're doing well. I have a poem by Henry David Thoreau, and it's called The Inward Morning. And I thought it was kind of appropriate because I like the mornings, because it is morning on July 22nd, 2024. And the summer is kind of at its peak right now, I guess. I live in Florida, so it's always warm here. But at this time of year, it's more than warm. It's like an oven. That's the best way to tell you about Florida. Yes, it's like an oven. But anyway, I was just thinking about something that I read in one of the comments on the Papa Paints. I wanted to address something. And it is when somebody gives you a critique and it hurts your feelings. When somebody gives you a critique and it seems mean and probably unnecessary. When somebody gives you a critique and you take it to heart and you wonder if maybe you should even continue painting. Let me tell it to you this way. We are the only species in God's creation that worries about things like that. I know that sounds silly, and sometimes silly, or adding leverage to something, makes you see it a little clearer. In the same way that a stand-up comedian sometimes reveals the truth, almost like the story about the boy who said the king is naked. So let's get back to my point, that when you are feeling like you don't want to continue painting because somebody critiqued you and said some things that you didn't like. You know, there's critiques that are beneficial, but there are also critiques that are just mean. And there's no way that I could ever understand why those critiques happen, or why the thoughts of the people who offer those critiques do that. I don't know. But my point is that we're the only species in God's creation that worries about that stuff. The woodpecker does not care if you think he's doing it wrong. the woodpecker, the horse does not care if you think he's doing it wrong, whether it's running or anything. In fact, human beings don't care when we're babies, when we're learning to walk. So, if we're the only species that worries about what other people feel about our creativity, then maybe God is okay with it. And I don't know about you, but if God is okay with my creativity, then I'm okay with it. You know, I try so many different things, and I've watched you guys on the Facebook group, and I know you try so many different things. You know, you try this technique, you try that technique, you try doing florals, you try doing landscapes. And in my mind, they're beautiful. So here's a story. It's not a true story, but it's a story I came up with a long time ago. And it's not much of a story, so I won't bore you too much, I hope. But see, right there, by me kind of apologizing in advance, it's not a great story. I just protected myself from anybody saying something critical about my story, which is kind of crazy because I'm trying to tell you not to worry about things like that, not to worry about those critiques. But here's my story. You have a mother, and it's Mother's Day, okay? And she has two children. One of them is 10 years old, and one of them is, let's say, 4 years old. And they're both making a Mother's Day card for their mom. And the 3-year-old, or whatever I said, the youngest one, puts a handprint, puts his hand or her hand in some paint, and puts a handprint on a card, and it says, "I love you, Mom." And the older child paints a beautiful picture and says, "I love you, Mom." And both children hand their card to their mother, and one of the children, the older child, has obviously developed more art skills, and the younger child has not. Well, which card do you think the mother likes the best? I think she loves them both the same. She loves them both. And so that's the way it is, you know. You should be the only person critiquing your work. I hear something outside. Okay, so I'm letting this dry now. That's my background for the picture we're doing today. I want to do a morning in the woods kind of a picture. Let me let some of that paint drip to the back. So anyway, so if you have a critique, a person who says something negative about you, and it happens a lot on social media. I hear something outside. Hold on, I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. I have no idea what was making noise outside. I don't know if the microphone picked it up, but I'm guessing it was an animal. Who knows? Like an animal, like dragging something. I don't know what it was. All right, let's get back to this now. So, anyway, I know what I was talking about before I left. Do you know I'm 69 years old? And I'm like you. I also get affected by those things when people say negative things. So just join the club. How about that? We just have a little club of artists who say no critiques allowed. Well, actually, you should invite critiques. I mean, legitimate critiques, you know? So, I don't want to make it seem like you're never going to learn anything from other people who can maybe point something out to you. And now I hear a crow out there. The only critique I ever give artists when Robin and I do the first Friday art walk, the only critique I ever give them is pricing. I see artists pricing their artwork too low, and I know why, because they want to sell them. I think I've told you my formula, and between us artists, I don't stick to this, but I stick to the pricing. I just don't stick to if somebody's asking to buy something. The formula is $3 a square inch, no matter what I do. And I think that's low compared to some others I've seen. Some others do $7 a square inch. I've seen that. So, but that's what it says. That's what you post on the painting. If you're at an exhibit, that's what you post. That's not necessarily what you're going to settle for. But you might be firm. You might say, no, that is what I'm settling for. And you can. It's hard for me to understand why art sells for a lot of money from some artists and not as much from other artists. I guess it's because of perception of value. You know, if somebody thinks it's worth more, maybe. It's like when I was younger. I don't know if it's still true, but things that were imported, that came from overseas, were considered more valuable than things that were made here. And of course, okay, this is made in, you name the country. You might live in some of those countries, so maybe on your end of the world, when you had something made in America, maybe that was a higher price thing. I don't know. It probably is. That's probably the way it was. But as far as art, what's more valuable? You know, they always say your art becomes more valuable when you die. Well, that doesn't do you any good if you're trying to make a living as an artist. That's why so many artists actually become illustrators. I'm an illustrator. I really don't make much money from art. I don't really make much from illustrating either, but I do a lot of illustrating. I'm working on a book right now for somebody. And I don't know the person at all. I don't even know the person's name. Because Robin gets the deals and she works with a publisher. And then they tell me what they want. And that's it. And then I work on the art or the illustration. And that pays a bit of the bills. But these paintings that I do here on Papa Paints, this is where my heart and soul really lies. Because these paintings are fun. Hanging out with you is fun. The idea that I give the cards away to people is fun. There's something about it I enjoy. It's worth more than money to me. And I've been doing art for free for a lot of years. When I worked at an assisted living facility, I would often do portraits of the people who live there. And the family members were the ones who really, really loved them. You know, they were the ones who really appreciated the art. And quite often I would get a tip. They would give me, a few dollars. And I didn't ask for it, but they would do that. It was always nice. So if you want to know what I'm doing here, and why I'm using orange and reds, it's because I wanted this morning scene. I wanted the sun coming up and everything has an orange glow to it. And I'm doing the top and the bottom because the bottom is the reflection in the water. And it's a little bit more impressionistic on the bottom because it's a reflection. And we're going to make the middle part darker. It's going to be right there, right? Just going to be a line like right about there, I guess. In fact, let me put that line in there right now. There's some kind of a place where everything, where the edge of the water is. See that? See how that worked out? Now I'm going to put some darker colors just above that. We'll come back to that. And we'll put some darker colors below it also. Darker, it's purple. So that's the darker, it's not black. I don't know if it looks black on this, on the picture or not, on the video. And then of course down here too. So that's the dark area, that's the mysterious area behind the trees. Put all these trees in there. So this particular painting easily could be criticized. Going back to my original topic, I wonder how many people have quit because somebody said something negative about what they were doing. Well, don't do that. Don't let that happen to you. And if you're married to a person who's an artist, or you have a child who's an artist, you're the most important person to give them some confidence, some positive feedback. So when I worked in radio, we would take phone calls all the time, of course. That's what usually radio shows do. And the ones who got on the air, the callers who got on the air, usually called to get on the air for two reasons. One was to say, I'm funny, not me, but themselves. And one is to say, I'm smart, not me, again, themselves. So a lot of the callers, it was kind of, you have to read through it, read between the lines. Are they wanting me to know that they're smart, or are they wanting me to know that they're funny? And sometimes they were smart, and sometimes they were funny. But I think it's just The idea that we all have this inner need to feel that we have accomplished something, this inner need to feel that we are valuable, that we are worth something. And we're the only creature in God's creation. We're the only creature that does that. So don't worry about it too much. Be like the dolphin. Does the dolphin care if you don't like the way he swims? Does the woodpecker care? I like the woodpecker analogy. Does the woodpecker care if you don't like the way he pecks at the wood? Which is, I love the way the woodpecker pecks at the wood. Maybe that's why I'm using that one. Does anybody in God's animal kingdom, does the flower care? Does the flower care if you don't think it's bright enough? Does the tree care if you don't think it's tall enough? We're the only ones who do that. Only people. Maybe you're a psychologist. Maybe you understand why. I don't understand why. So, that's my little spiel for today. I don't know if I'm talking to young people or old people. I think older people already get that. You already understand. You already understand sometimes the nonsense of negative people. That's a book right there, a book title, The Nonsense of Negative People. I should write that book. It wouldn't be very long, but it would be critiqued. I would get 5 stars, 4 stars, 3 stars, 2 stars. I'd be getting all these different reviews on Amazon if I wrote a book. Like that. Well, Rob and I have written books, and we do get negative and positive. Of course, ours are children's books. Little island right there or something, I think. I don't know. So, I do have a poem I want to read to you. I promised that. I'm trying to find... what was that purple color I was using before? I'm trying to bring all these reflections of these trees back down into the water. Have you ever tried to teach art? I don't consider myself a teacher, but I have some of the younger people in my family once in a while. They'll say, well, see, there's only one person who calls me Papa. That's my grandson. Everybody else, I'm Uncle Larry. So they'll say, Uncle Larry, can you teach me how to paint? Can you teach me how to draw? Can you teach me how to play the guitar? I play guitar too, so I get that too. Can you teach me? Well, I can show you how I do it. But I will tell you this, that any art form is something you just do. You just work at it. There's a young lady in our community who paints the most unique style. It's completely hers. So when I see somebody at the art show, at the First Friday Art Walk, when I see somebody walking by with one of her paintings, I know right away that she's the artist. And I guess that's a good thing, right? If you have something that's unique, maybe that's something we all strive for. But again, we're the only creature in God's creation that worries about things like that. Does the bumblebee care if you don't like the way he makes honey? Right? Does the beaver give a damn? How you like that one? About how he builds a dam? I don't think so. I don't think so. You could talk till you were blue in the face. You could tell a beaver You could write an essay 1,000 pages long to tell that beaver how he is just not doing a good job building a dam. And he won't care at all. I know what you're saying. Beavers can't read. And they don't care that they can't read. They don't care. They don't care. There's a lot we can learn from the animal world. If you're walking in the woods and a bear comes up to you, that's going to be a scary thing. He's going to care. He's going to care if you look and seem more scary than him. Then he will care. But he won't care if you criticize him for being too fat or being too smelly. If you're close enough, that would be scary. To be close enough to a bear to smell him. Maybe you have been. Have you? Have you been that close to a bear? I have not been that close to a bear. Almost looks like the woods is on fire. I didn't mean that to happen. I wanted it to be one of those orangish mornings. Alright, now I want to take some of this green. I know green is kind of an unusual color for this picture here, but I just want to put a little bit of green right here. Maybe yellow it up a little bit. A little bit airy right there. And I want to do the same thing in some of this place over here. See that line right there that separates the water from the land. I don't want it to be super bright. I want it to be lighter than the rest of it, but not as light as it is. Alright, let's maybe add a little bit of green here. Just, whoops, that's too watery. It's too watery. Just a little bit into green. You'll be able to see it. See it in the final picture. See how that works? It's working nice. It's just reflecting in the water. There we go, some green right there. A little bit of green. Some of these trees can be bigger. There's one foreground tree right here. It reaches up a little bit taller than the rest of them. Yeah, this is closer to us. Oh yeah, that adds a nice perspective to it. Here we go. I'll put the reflection in the water here. There we go. So the poem is by Henry David Thoreau. I'll let this dry. And it's called The Inward Morning. Packed in my mind lie all the clothes which outward nature wears, and in its fashions hourly change, it all things else repairs. In vain I look for change abroad, and can no difference find, till some new ray of peace, uncalled, illumes my inmost mind. What is it gilds the trees and clouds, and paints the heavens so gay, but yonder fast abiding light, with its unchanging ray? Lo, when the sun streams through the wood, upon a winter's morn, wherever his silent beams intrude, the murky night is gone. How could the patient pine have known the morning breeze would come, or humble flowers anticipate the insect's noonday hum? Till the new light with morning cheer from far streamed through the aisles, and nimbly told the forest trees for many stretching miles. I've heard within my inmost soul such cheerful morning news. In the horizon of my mind have seen such orient hues, as in the twilight of the dawn, when the first birds awake, are heard within some silent wood, where they the small twigs break, or in the eastern skies are seen before the sun appears, the harbingers of summer heats, which from afar he bears. Well, there you go. That's from Henry David Thoreau. How about that? I just rhymed too. I think I'm done. Let me turn off the camera and I'm going to try it, and I'll be right back. Okay. Now I will fold it, make it into a card. There we go. There's our morning at the lake. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And I'll talk to you tomorrow. All right, bye.